Hello students, welcome to e-classes of Deepal School. So today I am going to continue your lesson, that is unit 2, chapter number 1 of standard 4 science world book. So in that particular class we are going to continue our lesson after plants in the areas of high rainfall. So plants like rubber, teak, pepper, chestnut grows in the places where their high rainfall is found. So they have lots of leaves and they do not seed their leaves. Okay, so these are called the evergreen plants. Some other plants like cotton, rice and sugarcane are also grown in the high rainfall areas. Okay students, so you can see the wheat, the rice and the rubber and the teak are the example of the plants which are seen in the high rainfall areas. Then the plants in the muddy swamps, so you can see this one is a mangrove tree. So the mangrove tree grows in the muddy swamps. They are messy places students, and they have the soil like very sticky and clay and has a lot of water in it, so air cannot reach the root students. So it is very difficult to the plant to grow here. So you can see this one is the example of a mangrove plant, and you can see the clay and the sticky clay or the sticky soil and the water. There is much more water and the air cannot reach the roots because the root is high to the soil. And we also seen that the plant is very difficult to grow here. But then how does the plant tree adapt itself to these conditions students? Yes, the tree has roots that grow out of the soil, and they are called breathing roots. So they absorb the air and that the tree needs, and thus they can breathing from the roots. Okay, so the next one is plants in the coastal areas. So you can see the coconut tree. The coconut tree is the example of the trees or the plants found in the coastal areas. So you can see a lot of coconut tree growing in the coastal areas where the water is salty and extremely hot students. So the soil is sandy and the air has a lot of water vapor. So these places are also get heavy rainfall. So a coconut tree has a strong and flexible stem and long root which deep into the ground, and thick shiny leaves form of many long stripes to tolerate strong winds, reflect strong sunlight. So this is the example of coastal areas plant. And we can see now the adaptation in the aquatic plants. So aquatic plants are of three types or three kinds, that is floating plants and fixed plant and underwater plants. So what is the meaning of floating plant students? Water hyacinth and duckweed are plants that float on the water. You can see this one is the duckweed and this one is the water hyacinth. So these are the two types of plants that are floating in the water. So these are known as floating plants, and they have light and spongy stem, so that can or the plants can float in the water. Okay, so then the next one is fixed plant. Water lily and lotus are plants that have their roots fixed to the bed of the pond. So the stems are thin and long and hollow, thus the plant is fixed with the soil. So these help the plants to reach the surface of the water, and the leaves are broad and flat with the waxy coating on the surface to prevent the rooting from the soil. Okay, so the lotus flower opens during the day and closing during the night. You have to learn that student. This one is a important fact. And the lotus stem is eaten by many people. So you can see this one is the water lily and this one is lotus, and these are the plants of which is the example of the fixed plants. Okay, so the next one is underground plant. The tape grass and the pond weed are some plants which are completely submerged in the water, and they have thin and narrow leaves. You can see this one have thin and narrow leaves, and which arise in the clusters. You can see these are arise in the clusters, and from the roots they can arise. Okay, they have no stomata, so the plants take in air directly through their body surface. Okay, so there are many plants, other plants that show different adaptations. You will now about know about the particular plants, that is tape grass and pondweed are the example of the underwater plants. So in that particular chapter we learn the terrestrial plants. The plants that are live in the land are known as terrestrial plant, and the aquatic plant, the plant that are live in the water, are known as aquatic plant. And what is adaptation, students? Special feature in the plants that help them to survive in the environment is known as adaptation. What is desert, students? Places with hot and dry climate with little or no rainfall is known as desert. What are spines? Spines are sharp and thorn like leaves in the desert plant. Swamp, a wet, muddy or mushy place is known as swamp. Breathing roots, roots that can grow out on of the soil and absorb air is known as breathing roots. So you have to do the homework, students. That is, you have to done the worksheet and answer the following questions and send me the answer pic in your group. Okay, thank you, students. See you in next class with a new chapter.